November 17th, 2013. Guys, this is Setchier. We're in orbit ahead of Earth. Looking back, Mercury and Jupiter's on the left, just off the wingtip of the satellite. Mercury's coming into the right. That blue arrow is where Ison is seen brightening for the first time on the satellite, guys. That's neat because we'll be able to watch it now for about a week until it gets off Setchier, and then it will be coming in on some of the other satellites, and we'll be updating it there. But again, it's been a faint fuzzy ball that we've had to watch. But right there, and I'm going to show you some close-ups. Now, again, we've watched that star cluster, and this is where Ison's at. We watched it come across to the other two stars just below that to the right, the last video. But now look at it. And that's why we're seeing it on the ground images getting so bright. And Bruce Gary has finally got the data crunched on this and put up some new information, and it's amazing the size. And I'm going to point that out at the end of the video and give you an illustration kind of what we're dealing with here. But again, there's your main star cluster. We've watched the two stars that are down to the right. Their Ison just passed it. It's going down. It's going to start to brighten here in the next few images. There's Ison, and you see the stars get cloudy for a second, guys. That's the tail of Ison. Now watch it come through, start to brighten. You start to see just that faint picture of a tail, but we're millions of miles from it at that point. Now this is that new sunspot, guys, that's Earth facing, and they're all getting active, but this is the one that had the light inside the crater today, and it hasn't gotten any smaller. But what we've had is a couple strong CMEs. They're not strong flares, so they're not showing up as flares, but they're coronal mass ejections, and Ison is coming into the right, just the way you see these coronal mass ejections firing off in that very direction. We still, if you notice, have those same two stationary objects, and the same as in the video yesterday. Not sure what that is, guys. Now, this is the large sunspot. Now, to the bottom of that one to the right is the one that has been growing that yesterday was X-class capable. Now, it's just a dual configuration. But let's look at this sunspot. This is the one with the glowing light in it in the earlier video. Very unusual to see that. I think it's because it's just so large, we're seeing down into the bottom of it in the fire and the gas that's being ignited there. You've got so many electrons and protons and neutrons firing off that that's what we're seeing. And you see that pulse. That is that vibration of the sun. Now this is Bruce's new information. I'll link to his website. Here it says for a 60,000 kilometer diameter VMAG 6.34. Now that's showing right there. If you look up the side of the scale and find 6.34, you'll see that 60,000 kilometers. Now that's what he's saying is the inner Coma. Now 250,000 is where they've rated it now, November 17th. See that? Now that's being conservative. It's actually closer to the 350,000 kilometer line, but we're going to use that 5.51 that he's showing. Now, just as a reminder, the Earth is 12,756.3 kilometers. You see that? So I just want to kind of give you that. Also, the Moon is 3,474.8 kilometers. Now, at 250,000 kilometers, that's 20 Earths is that outer Coma of Ison, guys. That's what we're looking at. Now, if you remember on the news when they first spotted Ison, wasn't on YouTube, it was NASA. They were saying 10 times as bright as the full moon. All right, this outer Coma, which is going to get brighter. See what I'm saying? Each day. Now that is over 70 full moons. I have 80 here. It's not quite that wide for perspective, guys. Remember the news was saying 10 times as bright as a full moon. This is 80 stretched across there. That's full moon, and this is Ison, guys. It may be a little brighter than they say, and it's going to get brighter, but here's the dimensions. The outer Coma is 70 moons. The inner is 20 moons there. So just that, if it lost the entire outside of it, you got 20 moons, right? But it usually doesn't do that until it wraps around the sun, unless a strong solar flare with a coronal mass ejection knocks the tail off, and that will regrow very rapidly. But that's the math on it, guys, and that's what I've been waiting for. I wanted to see what has changed and what we're looking at as it's coming in. It's a heads up. Be safe.